Okay, hopefully we are now live. Anyone watching, apologies there. Had a major technical difficulties in the studio area. Got network connectivity. It went down. It just went total nightmare. But I'm online now. Hopefully, I think I'm online. I've done a bit of testing, then flicking between things. Anyone watching, any problems, just pop it into the chat. So welcome to Teams Tuesday. This is the first ever Teams Tuesday on the Husonator channel. I'm out of breath because I've been running around like an idiot, so apologies. So yeah, we're live. This is Teams Tuesday. So every Tuesday, the idea is I'm going to do. It wasn't going to be a live to start with. It was going to be a recorded video. But you know what? I thought I'll give live a go. I've not done anything on the channel other than the previous video, which I won't link to because it's a live. But there's a previous video on the channel, which is the review, unboxing, giveaway of an Apple smartwatch lookalike. So a bit like the Apple Watch Ultra, so it's a giveaway for that watch. So if you're interested in that, jump over that video, enter that giveaway. That will be given away when we hit 100 subscribers. So yeah, I'm just hoping my audio's all right, which I think it is. So let's just jump into things. I'm getting audio on the stream. Anyone that is watching, just give us a little confirmation in the chat that I've got some audio, would you? If anyone is watching. I will be putting this video after I have recorded the audio locally as well, just in case I've got any other problems. So I will put this video out after. Probably edit a little bit because of the total mess I made right at the beginning for going live. So yeah, so we're live. So we'll jump into Teams Tuesday. So the idea is every week, the Husonator, which is me, will do kind of a weekly update. What's happening with Teams? So in my normal life work job, part of my role is looking after Teams with a team of other people. So yeah, I thought I'd bring Teams into my personal life and do a little bit of a YouTube channel. There are other YouTube channels that I do. But this is dedicated to technology reviews. I'm going to concentrate on some UC&C, some collaboration, including Teams, WebEx, and then just like technology reviews, unboxings, things like that. So yeah, let's jump into Teams Tuesday. So Teams Tuesday this week has been a big week from Microsoft. It's Enterprise Connect at the moment over in Florida in the United States. All the main kind of vendors and players from all technology, all kind of customer experience technology vendors, service providers are there. Tons of keynotes, tons of presentations, tons of features being released, which is the big thing. So Microsoft, I think, have queued things up ready for Enterprise Connect. And as part of their presentations and keynotes at Enterprise Connect, they've started releasing things. And the big thing this week is the new Teams. So the new Teams has been rumored for a long time. Microsoft have been promising it for a long time. I know a lot of enterprises, companies out there have been looking forward to this moment in terms of new Teams coming out. So yeah, they announced a new team. So I want to go through in this video some of the features of the new Teams, what they're bringing into it initially, because it is a reduced kind of scaled back version of Teams to start with. So I'm going to run through what's in there now, some of the features that they're publishing as part of that new Teams. So let me just jump over to my browser. So these are all public sites. Let me just bring up the browser properly. It's all right. So these are all public sites. So there's the introducing the new Microsoft Teams now in preview. Just to add anyone that is watching, still have not had confirmation my audio's working, so I could have loads of audio issues at the minute. I don't know. Let's hope not. So if anyone is watching, just give me a thumbs up in comments, or just a hello or a yes or something, just to confirm that you can hear my audio. Obviously, if you can't hear my audio, you won't be saying anything because you won't have heard me ask to confirm in the chat that my audio's working. So that is a bit of a catch-22. What I'll do in the meantime, in fact, let me just have a look. So yeah, we'll jump and have a look at the new Teams in a second. I just want to check my audio. Yeah. Obviously, yeah, it's definitely working. Okay, right. So introducing new Microsoft Teams. It's now in preview. So they announced this on the 27th, which was only yesterday. So this tied in quite nicely with me doing the Teams Tuesday. I thought this would be quite a good thing for the brand new brand new video, a weekly video. So yeah, I'm not going to read this line by line, but in essence, Microsoft have released a new version of Teams 2 times faster, uses less machine resource, CPU, etc. Teams is a pain in the backside in terms of how hungry it is for resources on PCs. So yeah, anything they could do whatsoever to reduce that is will be an added benefit. There are some stats on this page somewhere. Here it is, yeah. So you can install the app up to 3 times faster, launch the app up to 2 times faster, join meetings up to 2 times faster, switch between chats and channels up to 1.7 times faster, consumes 50% less memory, which is what I just mentioned in there, which is brilliant. Even 10% less memory would be good because it is a nightmare, and consumes up to 70% less disk space. So after using the preview for the last couple of days, last day, it does run a little bit better. But as we'll come to in a minute, there are some things missing from there at the minute with it being a preview. So yeah, there's a little video here. All this does. Sorry. All this does is just show you the application launch times, switching between channels. Obviously, it's just a mocked up demo of it, so I don't imagine. Obviously, you need to test that in real life for yourself to see what it's like. And because Teams has got less stuff going on in it at the minute, with it being a preview, obviously it will be quicker. So yeah, there's a little video there if you want to see that scrolling performance. So yeah, there's a video. I won't watch the whole thing. This is another thing: collaborate more effectively across organizational boundaries. So if you're a user that's jumping between tenants, in and out of different tenants, maybe if you support customers, for example, jumping between tenants, or you just work with multiple customers, if you work with people on different tenants, you've got guest accounts, you want to jump between tenants, it is much easier to do. But one of the main differences is you can manage notifications between the different tenants. So rather than having to jump into another one to see your notifications, you can do it from one. So I think essentially it keeps you signed into them all at the same time so you can receive notifications, I think. It's not a benefit for me, but probably a benefit for many. IT management, what it is doing is it's changing the way the app is deployed using MSIX. So there is a deployment change here, depending on how you do it currently. It talks about security as well there, all the boring stuff. So yeah, so that's kind of it very quickly in terms of front end, what it looks like. Microsoft did release another blog post, I think this one here. So essentially, I think what they've done is they've re-architectured, I think that's a word, Teams from the ground up. So it's built on different application languages, and I think the main thing is the move from Electron to WebView 2. I think that's what gives it the much more speed. That reducing disk space, reducing memory space, is it because of that move from Electron to WebView 2. So it does talk about other stuff in here as well, about Fluent UI and React. So those moves as well. So yeah, I think if you into that kind of thing, you wanted more detailed information there, Microsoft have released that. It's quite an interesting read. It's not that long of an article, so maybe 5-10 minute read, but it does explain some of the choices they've made there. Some more nice diagrams to look at. Hotcake X says moving to WebView 2 was a great decision. It certainly looks like it should be. So yeah, so that's on the face of it what the changes are in terms of speed, by installing the app, launching the app, joining meetings, etc. And then obviously the architecture behind Teams itself. Next up, I just wanted to mention as well, I know I mentioned previously that the Enterprise Connect announcements that are going on currently, this being one of the updates from there are multiple updates, multiple feature releases, etc. that Microsoft have announced. So if I jump over to the Tech Community blog, and in here, I'll jump into the main blog. It does mention somewhere what's new in Microsoft Teams Enterprise Connect. So I think they mention in here an amount of features they're releasing. 59 new features to Teams. So there's tons of stuff in here. So, some stuff was already announced before this, but there is tons of stuff in here. Obviously, 59 things, but there are things such as one thing that jumped out to me that I want to have a look at is, if I can find it, avatars. So obviously avatars have been, with Microsoft Mesh, have been mentioned previously, but it looks like, well, it doesn't look like they've brought avatars to public preview or early access. So if you're on that and you have access to the avatar application via your application policies, you can now open avatars, create an avatar, and use that avatar within meetings. So that one of the things that jumped out to me was avatars. I think initially it was seen as quite gimmicky, probably still is by a lot of people. But I think if you're not wanting to join via video, but you want some kind of presence in the meeting, it's pretty cool. And if they fine tune, which it looks like they've improved already, the capability or the ability to fine tune your own avatar to make it look even more like yourself, then that'll be even better. You know, some days, if you haven't done your hair, not that I've got much hair, but if you've not done your hair, for example, and you don't want to join via video, you can just stick your avatar on. It looks a bit like you, moves a bit like you. I think it's a good thing. It's better than having no video on, which can make meetings a little bit dull. So yeah, that stood out for me. There were one other thing as well on this which stood out to me. I think it was something to do with one of the Teams devices. Let me keep scrolling. This one. So virtual front desk. So this is using obviously a Teams display. And I was thinking about this in terms of the company I work for, how we could utilize it and how other companies could utilize it. And the thinking was you could have this sat at maybe a reception area. So a device like this, if you've got a personless reception area, I don't know if personless is the right word, but a reception, unmanned, unpersoned, I didn't want to say manned, unpersoned reception area. Have one of these devices sat on the desk somewhere, walk up to it, it could ring into a centralized reception group of people who could welcome the person to the building, advise on where to go, etc. It does actually say on this here, it does say call receptionist on that screenshot. That made it even smaller. So yeah, I thought that was quite cool. And the other thing here as well, as part of the new Teams, which I think they're going to bring to classic Teams anyway in the meantime, is the new channel experience. So I think channels I don't think they've been neglected. I think the idea of channels is good. It's there, channels within a team. Obviously, to collaborate on a specific topic with a specific group of people, you should be doing inside a team, inside a specific channel. I think personally and other people jump into group chats within chats rather than using a channel, which is quite easy and natural to do sometimes because, one, you end up with about 5 million teams within your teams, and I think you find it difficult where to find the channel. So anything they can do to improve that channel experience, I think, will be a bonus, and that's what they started doing now. So you can see from this picture here. Oops. Let me refine that, sorry. See from the picture here, what they've done is they've flipped the conversational flow from bottom up. So if you went into a channel, you'd have the new chat box at the bottom to start a new conversation, and then you'd have to scroll up to find previous conversations. Now what they've done is they've put the box at the top, and you scroll down, which kind of ties in with Yammer in terms of how Yammer flows and works. They've also, if you see on the right-hand side here, they've done in this channel, which is a little pop-out box, shows the people in there, pinned messages to the right-hand side rather than sticking them at the top, and any updates in there. So I think that's quite good. It's probably the first thing they're going to do as part of that channel, them channel changes. So yeah, I think anything they can do with channels is pretty good. So yeah, so I want to cover off the new Teams. There's a couple of little features I've seen pop out there. And what I want to do, I just want to dive into, because we've had to do this in my organisation in terms of the testing. Just wanted to show how to switch on the Teams preview, basically. So let me show you. So they have added it to the admin UI, the web UI, rather than PowerShell. It was PowerShell previously. So the way to control it is using the Teams management update policies. So if you go to Teams and then Teams update policies, I only have one. I've just got this set for my test tenant. So if I go into this one now, previously it used to just be allow public preview, which funnily enough, allowed public preview. So what this did is it give people the ability that were added into this policy to turn on and off public preview within the application. So now what they've done as well is which has been another recent announcement, is used to be not enabled. Now it can follow Office Preview, which is a targeted release, I think. So that's a new option in there as well. So that's what was there previously, and obviously it's still there. But what is new is this option here, the Use New Teams Client option. So it's 3 options in here. So not enabled means the end user, it's admin disabled. The equivalent in PowerShell is admin disabled, but it's not enabled on the UI. So it means the user has no choice. They can't flick between classic teams and new teams, which probably for a larger organization at this moment in time, you'd probably keep that setting for most of your users, maybe just to ensure that they aren't using that new teams before you've tested it. And it probably will cause issues because there are features missing in there, which we'll come to in a few minutes. So not enabled is not enabled. Microsoft controlled. I'm not so sure exactly what this means, but basically it's under Microsoft control when they can decide to give you the option in the application. So that's probably for the future in terms of having that setting set. If you want to try preview now, you need to choose users can choose. And this literally gives you the ability as an end user, if you are in this policy, which I've only got one, so everyone is, to be able to choose to jump in and out of that preview. So I've got it set on this one. And when I didn't have it set previously and I moved over to this setting, it took a few minutes and the setting became live. So it didn't take any time idly, because I know some changes in Teams admin and in M365 can take 24 hours to replicate. This was in minutes. So that's the setting you need. And just to show you as well, I wasn't prepped with this. So let me just connect into Teams on here. I'll show you the equivalent as well in there in a minute. While we're waiting for my PowerShell admin to connect, what I'll do is I will just open up my Teams window as well. Okay, 1 second, sorry. Okay, so let me just jump into PowerShell. So hopefully, yes, I've got PowerShell shared now. Okay. So the equivalent to do it in PowerShell is to do a get-cs teams. I didn't want to do that. Update management policy. So if I do that, it'll bring back the default one, which is kind of hidden within your tenant, and then the actual global one, which you could see that, and the one my test users are all assigned to, so you can see their user choice. So that's the equivalent to in PowerShell. So to set that, so it's a set dash. Let me just set dash CS Teams update management policy. Do an identity global, and then do use new Teams client, and then user. Let me just see if it'll tab through. Nope. So we'll go user choice. Obviously, this won't make any change. So it's set currently. I'll put my inverted commas around that. Hit enter. It should accept it, but won't change it. Excellent. Okay, so that's the setting in PowerShell, and that's all there is to it. And that was available in PowerShell for a few weeks now. That has been there as an option to do. Obviously, Microsoft have just been waiting to release it in the wild in terms of it becoming live in the application. So now it's in the UI and there. So people have different preferences where they manage things. So that's it from PowerShell and in the UI. So what I'll do now, let me just jump over into Teams. Just try to work out how to get Teams shown because it won't seem to. Share it in. Let me do a display. Let me just share my whole display. It won't seem to show my display either. Why isn't that working? Teams. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so there is Microsoft Teams now. So that's just logged in with that same user that was logged in previously. So obviously I've got, this is just classic Teams, but you can see in the top left-hand corner now, I've got the Try New Teams slider. So if you're doing this for the first time, if you slide in that slider for the first time, it will prompt you to download the new Teams. So it is a different application running on your machine side by side with classic Teams. So I've done that previously on this machine. I think I've got this machine and another machine I test with. So let's just flick that slider. As you can see, I'm not in public preview or early access. Let me just, there's no icon up there. Let me just show you though. You can see I've got it unticked. So you don't need to be in public preview to see this. I think it does. Okay, I think I'm back now. Let me just check things out. Apologies about that. I had an OBS crash when I opened Teams. Let me just make sure my audio is coming back through still. Okay, I think I'm back. Apologies about that. Not that anyone's watching right now, so it won't really matter because I'll be able to edit that out hopefully in the future. So yeah, so now we're looking at the new Teams. So let me just show you that new Teams in 1 second. Let me just. Okay, that should be fine now. Okay, there's new Teams. So I had a couple of chats I've just hidden. So you can see it looks exactly the same. It kind of is exactly the same. You've got a few things missing. So on the left-hand side, you've got activity, chat, Teams, and calendar. There's no files, no calling, and the applications are massively reduced. So there's some basic Microsoft applications in there. So as you can see, the feature set is reduced. It is a preview. Microsoft do say this, and it is publicized. It is a preview with reduced functionality. But I have tested this in a production environment. Calling works fine. Calling individuals works fine. Meetings work fine. There are a few little bugs here and there, but to be honest with you, you come across bugs every day in classic Teams. So yeah, it works. It's the bare bones, but it works, and I think that is the idea from Microsoft is to get it out there in the wild. I know they do this with a lot of things in terms of that agile working methodology, probably getting that minimum viable product out there, which this is. It's probably been previous alpha beta versions of it that tested internally, but I think this is probably good enough to release into the wild. But again, you might not want your a full population of end users testing this, maybe reduce it down to a smaller portion of test users. But it does work. I noticed other things. There's some settings are missing or different. You don't have as many settings to control in there, probably because the features in there aren't available to control anyway. But you can see obviously audio devices, camera device, etc. You can select, switch between different things between dark and light mode. Privacy, it's more or less all there. So yeah, it's there. It works. It definitely works. And it's really easy to switch to it, as you just saw. So what we'll do is I'm going to switch back. When I switched to it last time, it crashed. It killed OBS and killed my stream. So it might happen again, but let's give it a go. So I'm gonna knock that slider back to off. So it's killed Teams. It's reopening the classic Teams. It hasn't killed my machine yet, which is good. Okay. So let me just bring it back. This might be. Okay, it definitely is back. It's definitely working again on my machine. Let me just bring it back into the into OBS. I did this before for some reason. Right, it's back working. So it takes a few seconds to switch between the two. For some reason, I just can't bring it into my live stream. It just seemed instant picking up the application, but I can assure you it's back working on my desktop. Let me see if I can do it on that one instead. No. Okay, but it's definitely back and working. So yeah, so that's the new Teams. Tested out, working in the wild. As I say, you don't have to be in public preview. You just have to have it be in that update management policy. So yeah, it's I've done a day's testing with it. I know other people within the company I work for have done testing with it as well. A few bugs here and there, some freezing, some audio issues. In fact, people were seeing when you hover over the settings section at the top, they were seeing really some. I think it says something like account manager for yourself. So it says account manager for me on mine, but for some people's it were actually saying it in German. I'm not really sure why, but some kind of locality setting perhaps that were messed up. So that was one of the bugs that I saw. So yeah, so it's there, it works. As I say, this is just one of many features that Microsoft are bringing out this week, so there'll be even more. So, but I wanted to do this video today. It is live on Teams Tuesday. This is Teams Tuesday. I didn't even mention it at the beginning because I was just so flustered with the technical issues. I've got my purple lighting, obviously the Microsoft Teams theme. Obviously Teams Tuesday will be every Tuesday, and I'll get my purple lights every Tuesday. Hopefully next week I'll be a little bit more prepared. Well, I was prepared. I mean, I'll maybe won't have technical difficulties, but I'm outside in my studio area, and I'm using a mobile router. Not a mobile router. It's mobile broadband. So it's using a SIM card connected to a mobile network, and then supplies Wi-Fi through the workshop. What I might do is I might try and connect my device to that router using Ethernet cable. So I'll try that at some point. So yeah, so hopefully, I know I've not had many live during this, and that wasn't my intention because I was going to previously do a pre-recorded video and make that live. And publish that video. With it being Teams Tuesday, I kind of wanted to do it on the Tuesday with features that were there on the Tuesday and do it live. I will do it live every week because I quite enjoy it, doing the live element. Hopefully, as I build the channel up, I'll get more people watching live as I'm doing them as well. So if you are watching this in the future from now, hit that subscribe button obviously on my channel, and come along for future Teams Tuesdays. I'm going to do other days of the week as well. maybe not every week for other technologies. And I've only done it Teams Tuesday because Tuesday was the only day that Teams really went with a T. I thought about Teams Thursday, but it didn't kind of have the same ring, so I went with Teams Tuesday. There's no science behind that. Although the Teams updates are on Tuesdays, but that wasn't my intention. I just realised that then. So yeah, Teams Tuesday, and there'll be tons of stuff from to this week's updates that will probably fill out future Teams Tuesdays, because there's just too many to talk about really. So what I'll do each week is I'll pick out probably a couple, and maybe track how it's going with the new Teams preview each week as well. So yeah, as I mentioned, I've had a couple of people watching. I think that's people I know, so thank you people that I know that if they did watch, but not for very long. But I will get this onto the channel, and if you are watching this in the future, obviously will be in the future because it's not now. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel, come along for the following Teams Tuesdays, and I will see you in any future ones. So just to remind you, my name is Ben, also known as
The Husonator.
And any questions, drop them in the comment section. I'll get back to any questions, any criticisms, any things I think I should include in the Teams Tuesday, any changes I should make to the format. There are many changes I will make to this format, but any suggestions anyone's got, drop them in the comment section. I will reply to all comments. I really appreciate people taking the time to leave comments. And hopefully, if I can make it work for one, and I've got other people join, I'll see you